A judge sentences an Austin police officer to 2 years in prison after a deadly shooting. We'll explain why the saga of Officer Christopher Taylor is not over yet.
Scattered showers from earlier this evening are moving out, but more will fill in. We'll take you through several wet days ahead in first warning weather.
And new signs that President-elect Trump's pick for defense secretary may be in for some trouble during his confirmation hearings.
I'm going to assess your sentence at 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice.
A prison sentence for an Austin police officer convicted of deadly conduct. Christopher Taylor and another officer shot and killed Maurice Da Silva at his downtown condo complex in 2019.
Now, Taylor and 3 other officers responded to a call that Da Silva was walking around holding a knife to his neck. Our coverage tonight will include body camera video of that deadly encounter. KXAN's Brianna Hollis tells us what's next for Officer Taylor.
Well, even with this sentence handed down, the case is all but over. Taylor is currently out on an appellate bond, and throughout this entire trial, there were multiple statements made about the status of policing in Austin. Taylor making direct eye contact with Maurice Da Silva's father during allocution Tuesday evening as Denzel Da Silva shares his sentiments on the past 5 years.
Well, I am not rejoiced by the punishment given to you, because I know how hard it is. But we have gone a lot of suffering and pain.
A judge's 11th hour decision based on these arguments made it so Taylor wasn't eligible for probation, ultimately landing him with the minimum prison sentence for the deadly conduct charge. The case hinged on police tactics during and leading up to this shooting.
Let me see your hands.
The previous elected DA passed upon this case and decided on her own that this was a legally justified shooting.
There are multiple places where you can look and you can see the difference between an ordinary and prudent person and what Chris Taylor did.
Throughout the trial, as both sides argued their cases, they also looked to what this verdict and sentencing means outside of the courtroom. The defense did so in part by having a witness testify to an officer getting stabbed in a separate case.
Example of the threat faced by the officers when he was shot.
And the state addressed the argument that current and former police leaders said Taylor acted in accordance with his training.
Perhaps the way that they do this is part of the problem.
Brianna Hollis, KXAN News.
And Police Chief Lisa Davis, who took on the role in September, released a statement following this sentence. Now, she did not share her thoughts on Taylor's actions, but called the situation, quote, a tragedy for the Austin community and the Austin Police Department. And she added that under her leadership, the department will, quote, ensure that the sanctity of human life and officer safety and wellness are at the center of our training, policies, and procedures. Going in depth, another officer is charged in the shooting of Maurice Da Silva, and he has a hearing in February. According to online court records, Carl Krisha is charged with murder. Christopher Taylor was also originally charged with murder, but the DA's office dropped that charge.
President-elect Donald Trump's transition team has reached an agreement with the Department of Justice that allows the FBI to conduct background checks and security clearances for Trump's nominees. The transition team had previously resisted using FBI background checks and security clearances. Trump's incoming chief of staff says the agreement ensures Trump and his team are ready on day one. President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth met with senators today ahead of what may be a challenging confirmation process. NBC News has learned as many as 6 GOP senators are not comfortable supporting Hegseth's nomination. Hegseth can only afford to lose the support of 3 Republicans if all Democrats vote no. It comes after 10 current and former Fox News employees who worked with Hegseth told NBC News that he drank in ways that concerned them. 2 said that on more than a dozen occasions they smelled alcohol on him before he went on air. A Trump transition spokesperson called the allegations, quote, disgusting, completely unfounded, and false.
ERCOT, the state's electrical grid operator, predicts above normal temperatures across Texas this winter, but also the potential for an extreme cold event in January or February. ERCOT's board talked to state lawmakers about its winter weather outlook today. The state's Energy Grid Oversight Committee questioned one of ERCOT's leaders about reliability. The chief operating officer said that an international regulatory group found the state's weatherization standards did improve the chances for less weather-related outages.
The findings were most of the facilities, almost all of the facilities were meeting the requirement. There were a few that did not meet the requirement that we had a period where they could go back and meet the requirement.
ERCOT started its weatherization inspection program following the winter storm in 2021 and has conducted thousands, 3,000 in fact, inspections since then. And as another winter season approaches, the First Warning Weather Team wants to keep you prepared. Join us here Thursday night for our winter weather outlook with specific expectations for our coldest season to come. All right, let's take you out to how much rain we've had so far today. Maybe you had rain where you were, but it did not amount to much. Just a few hundredths of an inch of rain in parts of the hill country. Officially 3/100ths of an inch of rain at Camp Mabry, 5 1/100ths there in Pflugerville, and relatively low amounts for those that did get rain in our eastern counties. Of course, rainfall totals at KXAN.com. The earlier rain showers that moved through in the early evening have now moved out of the area for the most part. We do have just a couple of spotty showers entering Travis County, but they're super minimal there just southwest of Austin, although higher rain coverage will start to pick back up as we head through the next few hours and especially by daybreak here tomorrow morning. But for the rest of the night, just a low 30% rain chance as temperatures get down to 51 by daybreak. Coming up in First Warning Weather, we'll track those showers tomorrow, including the time of day you're more likely to get wet weather ahead of yet more rounds of rain and even thunderstorms coming Friday into the weekend. We'll show you how much rain this all adds up to. Oh yes, some chilly days too.
Right, Nick, thank you very much. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol will lift a martial law declaration he imposed. The president declared martial law to try and thwart what he called anti-state forces among his opponents. However, outraged lawmakers rejected that decree. Protesters gathered outside the parliament in the country's biggest political crisis in decades. The president said he was lifting his declaration after it was unanimously voted down by 190 lawmakers in the parliament. The opposition party is now calling on Yoon to resign or face impeachment.
Tonight, the U.S. Senate unanimously passed a bill aiming to stop AI revenge porn. The Take It Down Act criminalizes the publication of fake, explicit images and requires websites to remove them. Texas Senator Ted Cruz and Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar introduced the bill. It has received widespread support from victim advocacy groups, law enforcement, and tech industry leaders. The bill now heads to the House.
Well, the Travis County District Attorney's Office unveiled a remembrance space honoring the courage of sexual assault survivors. It's a colorful mosaic entitled Rise Above, Stand Strong.
And the space was part of a settlement in a lawsuit between a group of survivors and several local government officials. Survivors cited alleged failures in the handling of sexual assault investigations and prosecutions between 2006 and 2019 and called for significant reforms within the criminal justice system. One of the plaintiffs tonight said she hopes the public display helps survivors feel heard.
Something every survivor wants. They just want to tell you what happened to them. They just want us to acknowledge them. And to see it up there and to know that every single thing up there is a story, even people who were just a community that were supportive of it, it means something to them too.
The piece was a community project. Several survivors, advocates, and allies worked with the artist to design their own mosaic, which was incorporated into that final piece.
A new study says visceral fat or hidden belly fat may predict Alzheimer's disease later in life. Researchers found people with this type of fat could see symptoms of the disease 20 years after they reach their 40s or 50s. This is according to a new study from the Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. Now, this is called hidden belly fat because it surrounds the stomach, liver, and intestines, not the fat below your skin. Researchers say visceral fat is linked with higher levels of the proteins associated with Alzheimer's disease. Researchers say lifestyle changes like exercise and food choices could help.
General Motors wants certain heavy-duty pickup truck owners to make sure the truck's gate is closed and latched before driving. That's after some reports and concerns of tailgates unexpectedly opening. GM is now adding more trucks to its original recall earlier this year. The recall affects certain 2024 Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra 2500 and 3500 trucks. Only trucks with a manual gate gate and power lock and release are affected. The automaker says that water can get into the electronic gate release switches, causing the gates to unlatch. GM is going to notify those owners starting next month about the issue and the repairs.
More nursing students for Central Texas hospitals. St. Edward's University celebrated its first group of nursing students with the traditional white coat ceremony.
And those students can now enter into clinic patient care. KXAN Sarah Alshay gives us an inside look at the program and shares how it will help fill a shortage of healthcare workers.
Are you experiencing any pain?
Starting in the new year,
What is your pain on a scale of 1 to 10?
Elise Wick will trade in these mannequins
My chest hurts.
for real patients. Wick received her white coat as one of the first 10 nursing students in the program at St. Edward's University.
It signified that the faculty felt we're prepared and we have enough of a capability to go out into the Austin community.
A milestone not only for Wick, but also the university. St. Ed's launched its new Department of Nursing this fall.
She can give birth and we can monitor her in labor.
Assistant Professor of Nursing Dr. Catherine Allen says the university created the program after realizing
There's not enough space, there's not enough availability. So St. Edward's steps in and creates additional seats for those qualified applicants to pursue nursing.
the Texas Workforce Commission expects demand for healthcare jobs to grow faster than all other occupations combined by 2030. In Austin alone, Workforce Solutions Capital Area counts about 15,000 current healthcare job openings.
And our health partners, our hospital partners are fantastic with offering opportunities. Many of those graduates will stay local and help fill the need of Central Texas.
In about a year, Wick will decide where she wants to pursue her nursing career. Until then, she's enjoying her time before that next step.
Get our learning in and go hands-on right away.
Sarah Alsheh, KXAN News.
And the program offers 3 different pathways for students pursuing a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. St. Edward's can accept up to 40 students for its traditional program and 20 for the accelerated option. Dr. Allen says because they are new, they aren't at capacity just yet, but expect they will be soon. Taking a closer look at the nursing demand, data from the Texas Health Department shows demand for registered nurses to grow between 2022 and the year 2036, but that demand won't be met because of the lack of registered nurses. The same report shows the state is expected to meet the demand for nurse practitioners.
NASA researchers are excited over the progress made by the Perseverance rover on Mars. This car-sized rover has now started to climb the rim of the Jezero crater after years of exploration.
We're really excited about the crater rim because crater rims are a great place to access rocks that were deep, deep underground and have now been lifted up. On Mars, that's really important because it's lifting up really ancient crusts, some of the first rocks that ever formed on Mars. It also is an exciting place because impact craters, they're very hot when they first form, and that drives big hydrothermal systems and water that can flow through the ancient crater rim. And so it's a great place to go look for ancient habitable environments that life might have once lived in.
And scientists expect Perseverance to bring back samples to Earth for study. For now, the rover will continue exploring for at least another decade.
There are 2 types of people when it comes to holiday decorations, those who prefer real Christmas trees and those who want to go with the artificial tree. Texas A&M Forest Service officials hope you go with the real thing in order to help boost the local economy and keep Texans working. The agency looked into the impact in 2022 and found Texas Christmas trees generated more than $700 million and supported nearly 6,000 jobs. Another perk, friends and families visiting Tree Farm helps the agricultural and tourism industries.
Earlier this evening, our station's not too far from the tree lot on Lamar. They were busy.
Oh yeah, 'tis the season, right? As soon as you cross into past Thanksgiving, it's like, uh-oh, let's hurry up and get those decorations ready. But be careful if you're doing that outside the next few days, because it's going to be damp up there on the ladder trying to put those lights up. Certainly wait for some dry weather for that, for your own safety, right? This is how it looks from our Austonian weather camera here tonight. We had a good scattering of showers move through in the early evening. That wet weather has moved off to the northeast. There's a couple of spotty sprinkles around, including one little shower there approaching Austin. But there's wetter weather on the way here for tomorrow as this cluster of showers in South Texas makes a run at Central Texas here. There's not going to be a lot of rain tomorrow, but I do still expect a scattered showery type of start to your Wednesday morning. There may not only be showers around tomorrow. There's still the potential here that late morning and midday we could get a stray thunderstorm in the mix that would mean some localized, briefly heavier rain. But for the most part, it's light rain showers in the morning and midday with a general trend toward drying during the afternoon and into the evening. Here's Thursday morning. That drying trend continues as a cold front pushes through and pushes the rain south. There will still be a lot of clouds around on Thursday, even if there's not much, if any, rain. Then we transition into Friday. Clouds thicken back up even more, and then wet weather starts to take back over again Friday afternoon and Friday night, setting us up for even more rain here for the weekend. But how much rain tomorrow? Not much. A few hundredths of an inch of rain, and in some spots they get a brief downpour, a couple of tenths of an inch at most. Most of us will be on the low end here and not anticipating much in the way of problems other than some potentially slippery roads tomorrow morning. Always when you get that light rain after it hasn't rained in a while, the road can get slick. 50% rain coverage here tomorrow, so half the area gets measurable rain tomorrow, mostly in the morning. Just rain chances at 10% Thursday, and then back up to 50% Friday. But Friday's also a much cooler day with highs only in the 50s. So there's Thursday. The rain is south of us. Here's Friday. The rain starts to come back. There's going to be more rain likely pushing in as we get into Saturday night, and even Sunday morning. The rain doesn't finally clear the area until Sunday afternoon or Sunday night, before some drier days fill in for early next week. But when you add up several days of rain, how much do we expect through Sunday? Well, we now think most of us get a quarter inch to an inch of rain. The higher rainfall amounts have gradually been spreading farther west over the last couple of days, and this has meant that we've been able to expand the areas we expect get the 1 to 2 inch rainfall to include Fayette County and portions of Bastrop and Lee counties. And if the trend continues, we may be able to push the higher rainfall totals even farther west tomorrow. So keep checking back with us. The other story is the temperature trend. We've got two cold fronts coming. One drops us from the 60s Thursday to the low 50s for highs on Friday. Plus with the rain, it's going to feel like a raw day. Still only in the mid 50s Saturday, and then the numbers spike at 75 Monday. Then another front comes in Monday into Tuesday, knocks us down into the 60s and potentially colder later next week. Here's a look at our first warning weather 7-day forecast. You can see those rain chances up tomorrow, down on Thursday, up again Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Drier weather arrives by Sunday evening, and then those temperatures start to fall back down again by next Tuesday.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good evening, all. Happy Tuesday. With a win last weekend, Texas football didn't just fuel their fans to go ballistic on social media, to say the least. They effectively guaranteed their spot in the inaugural 12-team college football playoff. Rankings coming out again tonight. No surprise, Texas moves up from 3 to 2 with Ohio State losing. They remain in the number 2 slot overall as the highest ranked SEC team. Well, folks, these are books. The saying I wanted to reference here is turning the page, hence aforementioned books. Texas, according to their coach, very good at turning the page. See, it all comes together. Let's go back to the last 3 weeks for the Longhorns. Pretty emotional games, right? Rivalry game on the road against Arkansas. They come back with some big defensive plays to ice it. Then they come home against Kentucky. Senior Day, another emotional game. Then back on the road, the rivalry of all rivalries against Texas A&M, and that was emotional as well. Big plays to get another win, and they're going to need to once again turn the page Saturday heading to Atlanta.
Time and time again, I see teams lose a game, and then they get beat again the next week because they're still kind of feeling sorry for themselves from that week before. And I think the one thing about this team, their ability to get recentered, refocused on the task at hand has been very impressive for 2 years now.
It started with a few weeks ago when he's preaching to us that, we were going to, go on the heater this part of the season. So it just, us trusting in him.
Just coming in with your head down, putting in the work, getting your body back, just focusing on the task that's at hand, just never being too up or being too down.
And Texas Game Day, the official pregame show of Texas football, airs Saturday at 2 over on KBVO. Texas and Georgia for the SEC Championship at 3. We'll have coverage from Atlanta this weekend. To Texas men's hoop, they lost their first game of the season against Ohio State. Second mention for the Buckeyes in this sportscast. Texas, though, has not lost since, but This week is going to be quite the interesting one. They just had one game in their last 12 days heading into tomorrow where they're going to head up to North Carolina State. Caden Shedrick, veteran for Texas, a native of North Carolina and Holly Springs. So the NC State game and the SEC ACC Challenge. And they host UConn, the reigning national champs, Sunday. So it's a big week for the team and Shedrick.
They both went to a Final Four last year, so it's kind of like a unique week for us as a team. So I think it's, we're going to get our first true road game. So hopefully we learn how to win in those kind of environments on Wednesday. The only thing different that will be about this one is my mom's going to bring my dogs to the hotel tonight so I can say what's up to them. So that'll be cool. Maybe my teammates will meet my dogs.
Maybe a pregame hype speech from the dogs as well. Otis and Dax are the name of Shedrick's dogs. Much more sports over on KXAN.com.
All right, some areas saw some rain today. What are we looking for tomorrow?
Yeah, another round of mostly light showers tomorrow. Your highest rain chances coming in the morning, and then those rain chances drop off some in the afternoon and especially tomorrow night. Then we've got just the tiniest rain chance Thursday. Cold front comes through, knocks us down into just the 50s Friday, Saturday. And then later Friday, Saturday into Sunday looking rather wet. So some good looking rain for us.
All right, there we go. All right, have a good night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. KXAN News Today starts at 4:30.